Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of the Big Brother 16. My name is Jacob Harple, and joining with me, as always, he's the master of reverse psychology, Erine Nunley. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing terrible. Ask me why. So my plan of reverse psychology works.
Why?
I don't know.
Whoa!
I didn't plan for this. I didn't think it was gonna work.
Well, also joining us is the Puppet Master himself. He's running the shot, not Frankie. Keith Guerrero, how are you doing this lovely evening?
Fabulous. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, pretty interesting episode tonight. I'm pretty excited to kind of dive into it. We touched on it a little bit last episode about who won HOH, but just for anyone that didn't catch that, we've got Nicole and Donnie as HOH. The first time in this game that we haven't had a bomb squad or detonator member in power. What do you guys think? What was your initial reactions of seeing them win on the show?
I ran around my backyard, because I was so happy.
The first time.
Someone's going home.
First time that two people are co-HOHs that are not in the detonators or bomb squad. So this week will still probably be a hot mess, but at least it's not the same people running the shots. Running
exactly.
the show.
That's something new to look forward to.
Someone else to yell at.
Exactly. Yeah, I was pretty excited to see it. Of course, my one hope is that, oh God, let's just be smart about this, guys. Like, you've got a really big opportunity here. You really can't miss at this point. So we'll kind of talk about how we feel about their noms here in a bit. So Julie Chen was the only one performing that night. After the HOH ended, we've got Zach having a sack attack, where I guess he decided to just get really, really angry during the HOH competition. What do we think about the meltdown of Zach?
3,152 seconds. Like, what were you thinking? Like, if you wanted to throw it, I mean, there's different ways, but come on.
Honestly, though, for me, I don't feel like it's too unrealistic. Zach is that kind of person that, like, I can see him messing up, trying to be all fast and calculating way too much. I don't think it's totally out of character, and I don't think anyone really would think about it like that. I don't think they would think that he threw it, because they remember when he won HOH, we were all about, Zach is like power hungry and he just wants all the power. So I don't think anyone would think that Zach threw an HOH competition.
I mean, I'm still not convinced that he threw it, to be honest.
It was one of those situations where, oh my God, I didn't.
Maybe you just got fooled.
I'm just gonna pretend that I threw it. So
exactly, like he's trying to claim that he threw it after he realized how dumb of an answer he submitted. He's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna backtrack and say that I threw it, and I'm just gonna completely own it, because I could see him doing that. So I just don't believe anything that Zach's doing, except having a hot mess game.
Because he's playing you. He's got this reverse psychology here and there, and you don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's real.
Maybe if he tried to convince himself to throw it, his reverse psychology would work, and then he would actually win HOH. Do you think? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about Zach's reverse psychology plan with Nicole? Basically telling her, "Put me up. Like, you should put me up." What? I just feel like it's every week. Zach is getting more and more ridiculous.
Okay, so like the whole reverse psychology stunt, like Zach didn't realize his HOH reign was over, and he was still craving that power. So if he was nominated that week, he would get responsibility for his own nomination, because that's the only thing that he could control. He's out of control. He's out of power. But if he still wants the power, he could say, you know what, nominate me. Do it, slap me. But the thing, though, is that after he calmed down from his power trip, he realized, oh, snap, I actually don't want to be nominated. So that's why he quickly backtracked and went right back up to Sugar Mama Nicole, talking about, I don't want to be nominated again.
So, well, he's just trying to control Nicole's nominations. So I think I don't know. It's really hard to get inside that brain and be like, he's doing this and he's thinking this. But I think he really didn't think that she would nominate him if he asked for it. And I think after a while, after thinking about it, he was like, actually, she might actually nominate me since I told her to. Not knowing that she was going to put you on the blog no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's a weird strategy coming from him, so it's hard to really get into his brain.
Would you say that Zach is the new Devin?
I love how just Devin is still relevant. Like, I just can't, with like how relevant he is, how Donnie pulled up like, well, Devin did this, Caleb.
Yeah.
And how Devin is just still relevant to this day. They will never find a replacement for Devin. Let's just throw that out there, round one.
You should give Pow Pow a shout out too, because she definitely got her airtime. I don't understand how these people are still giving airtime to people who haven't been here for weeks.
Well, I just mean like he's the new Devin in the fact that he's kind of the one, thinking a million miles a minute now, saying things he doesn't need to be saying, kind of blowing up, self-destructing. I don't know. I feel like Zach's time is on its way, and it's just like every week he stays is just due to the fact of the alliance that's carrying him. What do you think of Zach's overall gameplay?
I'm sad, personally, and I'm very conflicted. I even said this in on one of my tweets, is I don't know, I don't know how I'm on Team Zach. I really don't, because as we've gone through, I've been on some people's teams, and they made me jump off their bandwagon. But Zach's strategy is really hard to, be in the stands being like, woo, go Zach, because I'm like, woo, you're kind of like, it's not working for me. But I think it's because I like his personality, and it's like clashing. Like, I like your personality, but I hate your gameplay, and I don't know I don't know how I should feel. Like, who if I should leave, if I should stay. Like, are you gonna get it together? Do you want to win? But yeah, I don't think his strategy is working for him. And even though he has friends in the house, Cody will be ready to get rid of him. Derek will get rid of him if he needs to. Frankie will get rid of anybody if it means to keep Frankie safe. And I'm just like, Zach, you need to pull together. You need to. You think, like, he even said in the episode that he's like, I got my boys behind me. Like, but your boy, it's not. You shouldn't be relying on them because they're not as strong as you think they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I even think saying he has a strategy is a stretch. I think it's just him being erratic, and half the time his behavior is just due to the fact that his alliance, his boys, are just egging him on. Like, he's easily manipulated, and I don't know. Like you said, though, I love him. He's one of my favorite characters to watch. I think, though, he's got one of the worst gameplays, though.
It doesn't help that, Team America missions are kind of put there, and they keep being used, or using Zach to, throw off their agenda to get them some $5,000.
Exactly.
Which I hate.
So, I don't know. I think I love Zach, but I think him staying is just going to be just for entertainment. Like, I won't get any pleasure watching him play the game because I don't think he's playing the game. I don't think his mind is as in it as he'd like to think that he is, and he's kind of just falling into Derek and Frankie's hands.
I would agree with Jacob. But speaking of Team America, let's just segue into this topic.
Let's do it.
I just think it's hilarious how Derek and Frankie were talking on the bed and talking about how, well, we gave up $10,000 for Donnie, so he better not nominate us, right? And I'm like, these little fools, it reminded me of what Erine, Too Famous, was saying prior, are so focused on this chump change, this $5,000 task, where Donnie has his mind set on the $500,000 that he came here for. So, I don't know, just the whole like fact that the bomb squad and the detonators aren't in power this week. They're like little rats, like going around trying to like say, "Oh, I did this, I did this, I did this for them." Nobody's safe, and it's so good to see people who are so used to being comfortable in the house go off. And I'm thinking that this is the fuse that Aaron saw in Derek in the pre-game assessment. Like, this is it. This is the fire, Derek, that we want to see. I would love to see a position where like the house turns on Derek. I think that's when like all hell will break loose. I need to see that happen.
I think, and yeah, like it's good that we're finally seeing what this game is like without that core reliance in power. And I think that's how you really know, like that's how you'll find the true players in the game, because you know it's easy to be a good player when you're in power or with you're in that power, but when you're on the outs or when you're not in control, that's how you find out whether or not you're actually playing the game. Just how you're able to handle those moments. And we definitely saw a different side of Derek. It's a Derek that doesn't feel safe, Derek that doesn't feel like he's in control, and it's definitely bothering him. And I think he needs to just take it easy.
I wonder what Derek we would see if Frankie gets backdoored. Like I would like to see like his reaction if he's trying to campaign to keep Frankie, which is going directly against HOH. So
I would like to see Derek on the block just to see how he would handle it.
That too.
That would be interesting.
I think that despite Derek, throwing his temper tantrum at Donnie winning HOH and demanding to be safe this week to Frankie, he handled himself very well in that conversation with Nicole, because Nicole was talking about nominating one of his closer allies, Frankie. Like, he's on Team America, they're in the detonators together. But him choosing not to share that information with Frankie, that's solid gameplay. Like, you don't need to share everything with your allies, especially if it's that sensitive information, because you want people to come to you with information. And if Nicole's doing that to you, you don't want to bite that hand that's feeding you that information. You want to hear everything that's going through her mind, especially when she's in a position of power this week. So if you abuse that, I'm just really glad Derek had the common sense to not run off and tell Frankie that information. I thought that was a test, and he passed it with flying colors.
Yeah, we definitely, as he said, if he would have told Frankie would have gone to Nicole
exactly
before Derek was finished telling him what was going down. So
he'd probably go and wake up Derek thinking, "Oh wait, Derek, you're the one who told me. Oh, I have to go handle this."
Well, it's just like you said, like Frankie's going to take out anyone if it means keeping Frankie safe. So if Frankie really did feel like he was going up on the block, he's going to use that information against Derek to try and get Derek or Cody up. So what do we think about Team America potentially targeting each other? I feel like it's bound to happen. Like, obviously, these three players are not really on the same side. Like, Donnie, of course, isn't on the same side of Frankie and Derek, but I think we're eventually going to see maybe a fracture between Derek and Frankie potentially. Do we think we could see that in the near future? Derek versus Frankie?
It'll have to happen because they're both rising as like kind of like the same threat level. Mm-hmm. Derek isn't as I don't know. People know that Derek's playing a good game, but they don't view him as threatening as Frankie. At least in Nicole's eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the only issue with Derek is him handling the timing, like when to strike the person that is at your level strategically.
Yeah.
Do you do it soon so that you let all these other floaters stay in the game with you being the last leader? You can't do that. We saw that happen last season, and that's how Andy won the game, with the exterminators at the very end, all floaters at the very end, aligning against the people that were influential in the house. So you kind of have to like ride the wave, and even though that you're both strong powerhouses, as long as you can still work together, it's imperative that you keep somebody that's a meat shield, quote unquote. Not a Caleb meat shield, but like somebody who could potentially beat you meat shield, and then get rid of them at Final Four, Final Five, somewhere down the line, but not necessarily before like Final Seven, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's good timing. So we kind of saw a new alliance form. I guess maybe not alliance, but we've got Hayden, Nicole, and Donnie basically just replacing Christine with Donnie, which I think is a good decision for Hayden and Nicole.
Yeah.
What do we think about these three working together? Do you think this could be a solid alliance?
This is a very interesting combination, Melissa. You have really opened my eyes to something. No, like I really enjoy the fact that Donnie appreciates Hayden's perspective, especially because us as viewers never got to see inside Hayden's mind outside of, I want to get that with Nicole in. Who are you, Victoria? No, really, who are you? Like, we get those funny punchlines, but we don't get to see his actual strategic game. He was never in the detonators, never in the bomb squad. He was also never a target. So there has to be some sort of game awareness that Hayden's putting on in front of the house that's working for his advantage. Mm-hmm. I'm really glad that Hayden was able to be a part of that conversation and that they actually listened to what Hayden had to say. And I think I completely agreed with everything that Hayden was talking about. With this Battle of the Block twist, you can't nominate two strong competitors. I completely understand why Jocasta and Victoria still find themselves on the block. This twist makes it so that you have to have a pawn with a strong competitor if you wanted to go after strong people. So I think Hayden spewed out pretty much like strategic gold, and I understand the nominations that were made, and I think that Hayden was a big factor in making the wheels go round for this week's nominations.
What do you think?
I mean, he said it. He said everything.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting group. I think if there begins to be some paranoia within the detonators and that starts fracturing, or if they're able to get Zach out this week, I think that threesome could be very, very powerful in this game. Mm-hmm. So we see that Frankie is probably going to be the target this week. I'm not too surprised. I think it's about time they kind of realize, Frankie's playing this game really well. It's a huge competition threat. It's kind of all over the place.
Huge social threat. I'm so glad that Nicole was the one to not necessarily figure it out, but to be the person to say it so that we could see the footage of him practically being everywhere. When Nicole and Derek were having that conversation on the bed, here comes Frankie walking back and forth from the bedroom so like they can't get too intimate into the conversation. When Christine's stepping out of the door in her suit, she gets attacked with a hug by Frankie. Like, he's just literally everywhere. And to me, that's overplaying. Like, that's too high maintenance of a game awareness where like you're being kind of obvious with your actions. So Frankie, he's kind of like really, really high strung. He needs to tone it down a lot for him to have any, like, let's just say under the radar is not Frankie's forte in this situation.
No,
it's getting back to him.
I think that's why the difference between him and Derek too. Like, that's why Derek's not really being targeted right now or spoken of, and Frankie is. It's because Derek's been more low key, and Frankie's the one, demanding the attention and all the conversations and running around to different people. And it's about time they kind of pick up on it and decide to do something about it.
Yeah.
And Frankie, and I think Caleb winning immunity this week also kind of hurt Frankie too. Because
I was actually rooting for Nicole to stay HOH just to see it come to fruition. Like, ideally, somebody other than Zach will win veto and use it on Jocasta, and then it'll be Zach and Frankie on the block. That would be the ideal situation for this week's veto. But I don't know. I was rooting for Nicole to remain HOH. So I was glad that happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about nominations. So we had Donnie nominate Victoria and Caleb, and we had Nicole nominate Jocasta and Zach. Now, I kind of want to talk about what you guys felt about nominations. I'm very scared for Jocasta to be on the block next to Zach. Yes, of course, if they can pull off the veto and use it on Jocasta and put up Frankie, then it would be a huge success. But we've also got a lot of people that might use the veto on Zach or might not even use the veto at all. So I think there's definitely a big risk with putting up Jocasta, whereas they could have put 2 targets up. Like, I think I could have seen Nicole nominate maybe Victoria and Zach, just because, she doesn't have a very good relationship with Victoria. Victoria's kind of been a pawn every which way, whereas Jocasta, she's just kind of by herself or with Donnie. And then Donnie could have still put up Caleb, but then maybe put Cody up with him, just as a pawn. I think he's got every justification to do so. What did you guys think overall about the nominations?
No comment, Julie.
I'll step in with my commentary, because I agree with their nominations. Like, the HOHs have to communicate what they want to do to each other, and if they feel slighted in any way, like we talked about who we're going to nominate, and you picked somebody from my nominations, I would be fuming. I'd be like, where's Victoria's key? I'm expecting to see Victoria's key. Where is it? You want me to put up Hayden? Because I'll do it. So it's one of those situations where the HOHs have to be on the same page with who they're nominating, regardless of who picks 1 or 2 first in the egg. And Donnie was comfortable with Caleb's blood on his hands, and Nicole was comfortable with Zach's blood on her hands. Jocasta and Victoria are bleeding everywhere, so might as well just join in on the party. And for Battle of the Block Twist, we need 2 pawns. Like, you can't have 2 strong people coming after you when you're not even guaranteed to remain HOH the entire week. So I completely understand the strategy of having to nominate 1 pawn and 1 strategic or 1 competitive threat. But at the end of the day, it's just the twist that they were dealt with, the cards that they were given, and I feel like these are sound nominations given their circumstance.
Yeah, and I think maybe for that reason, I'm just kind of ready for this twist to be over, because, once, there's only 1 HOH, I think we're going to see some bolder nominations, because there won't be that risk of, if I put these 2 people up, they have a chance of being safe for the whole week, and then they're coming after me and I'm dethroned. So I'm really excited for Thursday, not just for the double, but just for the fact that we're kind of going back to a standard format of Big Brother.
The only way that it could have been any different is if Christine exposed the detonators, but she didn't, obviously. So
yeah, I think I'm done with Christine.
Yeah, Christine's next.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've talked about it a lot the last couple of episodes, just the missed opportunities Christina's had, and just her, if she wants to go to the end with Frankie and Derek and Cody, then good for her. 4th place is not that bad. She should be proud of herself.
I didn't come here for 4th place, Julie.
There it is.
So we have the noms. Yeah.
Can we give some shine to Cody? Let's give some claps to Cody.
Oh, what do you want to clap to Cody for?
You become the new Victoria. Literally, the only person, you go back and check the tape, the only person to not have a speaking role in the play known as the nomination episode of Big Brother. He had a little bit of airtime. We saw his face when Frankie and Zach were laying up against each other, but he didn't say a word. Didn't say a word the whole episode. And I'm like keen eye right there. And I was like, okay, Cody, you must not be relevant enough in any aspect, because you didn't say anything in nominations, you didn't say anything in Battle Block, like you didn't have any airtime, like 0. And we're down. What week is this? Like, if you don't have any airtime, like, what are you doing in the game? So,
what is he doing in the
Cody?
game?
Do whatever you gotta do.
What is he doing in the game? That's what I'm wondering. And actually, I'm not wondering it at all, because I don't like him, and we all know this. And he's blessed that I'm not in the house, because I would make him relevant with his useless DRs. But yeah. I don't know if I should commend Cody for not having any airtime, because at the end of the day, if you don't have airtime, that means that you're in a safe position. So, like, I don't know. Part of me is like, good job. Another part of me is like, rotation, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
If you don't have any airtime like this far in a game, it doesn't look like a winning game. At least not not in that type of sense.
Would it be like a Memphis type of game? Because I never saw Memphis, so I'm wondering if Memphis was this irrelevant.
Memphis only had airtime when, Jerry's calling him out for being a womanizer.
I mean, I think Memphis was still a little bit more relevant, though.
He was.
Okay. Then Cody, you're just
made
done.
Moves. It's just they were a little sloppy.
Yeah.
Cody's just not even there. I don't know.
I can't wait for him to walk out the door.
He's playing a lame game. Not a lame game. Well, he is playing a lame game.
Oh my God! Do not bring Lane into this house.
I'm just saying.
And I liked Lane. The audacity that was his final two. I can't even go back to that.
Maybe he'll do better if he makes it to the final two, but, I mean, if he's planning on going with Derek, then sorry about you. Here's your $50,000.
Yeah. Girl, I hope you didn't want that many zeros in your